Good morning, everybody. I wanted to take a second to go over today's assignment, the document analysis on Marcus Garvey, part one. Bear with me today. My cat allergies are acting up a little bit. Obviously, you can see I need a haircut, but let's dive right into it, okay? So our question is, why was Marcus Garvey a controversial figure? For today's part of the assignment, we're just having you look at a textbook passage and then compare it to a timeline. Let's go over this textbook passage here. All right. Many African Americans and other minorities work together to protect their rights and fight racial hatred. African American leaders urged Black people to take pride in their culture and to become economically independent. These leaders became known as Black nationalists. I'm going to highlight that little part because that sounds important. As what they believe. Marcus Garvey was an important Black nationalist. Born in Jamaica, he founded the Universal Negro Improvement Association, or the UNIA, in 1914. This group wanted to end imperialism in Africa, we heard that word before, and discrimination in the United States. 2 years later, Garvey moved to New York City, where he started a UNIA chapter. In his speeches, Garvey encouraged African Americans to learn about their heritage. You must fall back on the intelligence of others who came before you and have left their records behind. Garvey started a number of businesses to offer economic opportunities for African Americans. However, he was arrested in connection with his business activities and served 2 years in jail. Despite his difficulties and limited success in fighting discrimination, Garvey influenced millions of people around the world. As the Amsterdam News, a New York newspaper, wrote, Garvey made Black people proud of their race. In a world where Black is despised, he taught them that Black is beautiful. So who was Marcus Garvey? You highlighted that word, right? We said he's a Black nationalist and a leader of the UNIA. According to the textbook, what were the strengths of his movement? Let's see where it says that. So we could say he influenced millions of people around the world, right? He urged African Americans to protect their rights and fight racial hatred, take pride in their culture, become economically independent. All of those could count for that. 3, according to the textbook, what happened to Garvey and the UNIA. At the end here, they talk about here, right? He went to jail, right? He served 2 years in jail. Now, write one question you have about Garvey and the UNIA there. What's one thing you are now interested in that you want to know? So once you finish that, go down to the timeline here. And we're going to see, what does this add to the textbook we just read? So Marcus Garvey and the United Negro Improvement Association. Note this timeline focuses on Garvey and the UNIA during the years he was based in New York City. Garvey continued to be active after 1927, and the UNIA continued to exist after his death in 1940. 1914, Garvey founds the UNIA in Jamaica. 1916, Garvey leaves Jamaica for New York City. 1917, 13 members joined to form the New York branch of the UNIA. 1918, Garvey starts Negro World newspaper. 1919, Garvey starts Black Star Line Shipping Company. FBI instructs New York and Chicago offices to begin monitoring Garvey. This is something that the textbook doesn't tell us about why he went to jail, right? The FBI is spying on him. Black Star Line signs contract to purchase its first ship, which will be renamed Frederick Douglass. 1920, the UNI holds its first international convention of the Negro peoples of the world at Madison Square Garden and schedules a massive parade in Harlem. UNIA adopts and signs a Declaration of Rights of the Negro peoples of the world, adopts a nation flag with the colors of red, black, and green, and elects officials for its government. Garvey himself is elected provisional president of Africa. 1921, an 18-man UNIA delegation leaves for Liberia. 1922, Garvey's arrested for mail fraud. He allegedly sent out brochures advertising a Black Star Line ship that he had not yet purchased. The Black Star Line is dissolved due to financial failure. Garvey meets with the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan, resulting in a Garvey Must Go campaign headed by black leaders. That's something we didn't know before. Garvey met with the Klan, and people wanted him to go. 1923, second UNIA delegation heads to Liberia. Garvey's arrested and sentenced to 5 years in prison for mail fraud. 1927, President Calvin Coolidge commutes Garvey's sentence. Garvey deported to Jamaica. 1940, Garvey dies. So there's a couple things we could put that we didn't know before, such as he met with the Ku Klux Klan, the FBI was spying on him, he had this ship named the Frederick Douglass where he was going to send people back to Liberia. You could put those or any other. There's a lot of rich stuff here, or any other detail here for number 5. Number 6 is one new thing that you want to know after reading this. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this reading and assignment.